Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. What a weekend we just had. I'm still recovering from that. Oh my god. So basically this weekend, the players of Top Drives were made to place our best hands forward for a FAP. Myself included. And I had to say that at the start of, the bye week, I guess, my hand for the FAP was really weak. And throughout the 2 weeks, my hand just got stronger and stronger and stronger until finally I could pump it out and get the FAP. So let me show you my progression. And then obviously at the end of the video, I'll show you the clip of me actually getting the FAP. So if we go into play right now, as you can see, I haven't won the FAP in a while. In fact, I haven't won the FAP at all because there's only one FAP in the game and nobody's won it until last weekend. So before winning the FAP, you can say that my hand was pretty blue, or my deck was pretty blue. So it started off with 2002. Basically, I'm just going to tell you the entire journey of how my hand began all the way to when I won the FAP. And I have to say, I started this final like I just started the game like last week. I'm serious. I had nothing on my plate, okay? So let me go into years right now and let's go into 2002. Now, let's not forget, at the start of the finals, where we only knew about the qualifier prizes, everybody thought it was going to be 2002. It was only halfway through when Hut said that we're also going to throw in the year 2000. So let's start off with the year 2002. What exactly did I have? Well, this was the best hand that I had at the time. It was an Infinity G35, an Aston Martin DB7, another Aston Martin DB7, a DB-AR1, and a Pontiac Trans Am 35th anniversary. This was my 2002 hand. This was my hand literally 2 weeks ago when the qualifiers, less than 2 weeks ago, like last, Thursday, when the announcement that the FAP was going to be the next prize car. As you can see, it wasn't a very weak hand. I had to erect something really good to win a good FAP. So this was the hand. It wasn't very nice. If we go into filter and select all cars, obviously you guys found out that I got tier 1. And from tier 1, I got myself I got tier 2 carbon fiber, where I got, I think, like some what did I even get from that pack? I think I might have, I think it was a Mazda. Maybe it was a Mazda RX-7, but regardless, from that pack, even though it wasn't tier 1, I did get the Lotus Esprit V8. So going into the final, after the end of the qualifiers, which was basically Sunday, my hand was literally like, I don't know, you could take out like maybe the Firebird. It would be the Lotus Esprit V8 and 4 Max Ultra Rares. This was very sad. As you can tell, it wasn't a very good start. A lot of my friends already had decent hands for a FAP, like the Pagani Zonda S7.3 and the Acura DNX. Like I said earlier in my review video, if you won the Mercedes SLS GT3 and with the Acura DNX, you are already in good shape for a FAP. That said though, I wasn't. My hand was just so weak, I couldn't even pump out a single FAP. So basically my hand, like I said, was 1 Lotus Esprit V8 and 4 Ultras. Very mediocre. Then came the prelims. Once again, I ended tier 2 in the prelims and I got absolutely nothing. I think I got an Aston Martin DB7 Zagato and I think another Mazda RX-7. To be honest, my memory was really bad because the main thing is if I don't get a good car, I'm not going to remember it. I think maybe I got a G35. Maybe it was a G35 and a DB7. Something along those lines. But basically, after the end of the prelims and the end of the qualifiers, I was going into the final with 4 Ultra Rares and 1 stock Lotus Esprit V8. It was not looking good. And then obviously midway throughout the week, Hutch was like, oh, we're gonna add 2000 as well. So adding 2000 as well was huge, because now we go into my cars. If we added 2000s, I was like, okay, this is gonna be easy, or easier, I say. So let me go into 2000s right now. So at the start of, I guess, the final, so it was Friday? No, it was a Thursday. Wait, is it Thursday or Friday when the finals begin? Thursday. My memory is so bad, bro. But at the time, I had one Dodge Viper GTSR. This was before the Zonda S. This was before my second GTSR. I also had a Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. So I had 2 epics, and then like I said, we had the Lotus Esprit. So get rid of that, and then we had the Lotus Esprit. Imagine the Lotus Esprit is in here. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, because I fused it into my Pagani. And then, you know, I also had, you know, 2 Lotus 340Rs. So at the time, this was basically going to be my hand. In fact, I wanted this to be my hand. I wanted it to be where I could only use 2000s, you know? Like if it was 2000 or 2002 times 5, I remember joking with my friends. I was just like, you know what? If since they added 2000, I'm just gonna use 2000 because 2002, my 2002 hand is just so goddamn bad. So this was the hand I thought I was gonna go in with. And then the final leaks came out, right? The final teasers. And then in the final teasers, then we found out, oh, we had to use at least 2 2000s and at least 2 2002. Okay, the fact that we had to use 2 2002 was a huge kick in the balls for me. At that moment, I was like, oh my god, I don't think I can get a FAP through with the 2002. My 2002 hand, as you know, was really bad. All I had was that stock Lotus Esprit, and I didn't want to max the Lotus Esprit because it was so bad. I mean, it's an RQ65 Epic. I never, ever want to touch an RQ65 Epic unless it's that one slick tire Renault, I think. No, sorry, Peugeot. So like I said, this was my hand, and then like the introduction of 2002 was like, oh, okay, I have to use 2002 cars now. So I went back, and let me go back into decades and years and show you what my hand was looking like then. This is where I found out what the track sets were going to be and how there was wet. Obviously it had to be wet, right? It has to be wet when you FAP. When you want to get a FAP, that's what I mean. But yeah, it has to be wet if you want to get a FAP. But yeah, Infinity, or not wet, I guess, just moist. Anyway, so yeah, with the wet track sets, I had to put in the Infinity G35, and I had to get rid of the S1 as well. I also needed a medium ground. I needed 2 medium ground clearance cars, I believe, because I needed to use this for the wet, and then there was a dry city streets medium. Like I said, guys, I was not looking good for this. I had the Acura RSX, but at the time, my Acura RSX was stock. So this was the hand that I could have gone in with at the start of the final. Basically, 2 epics. This one was, well, as you can see, the upgrade pattern. As you can see, I planned to go in with this because I was like halfway upgrading it until I got better cars, and then I was like, oh, okay, I don't need to touch the SVT Cobra anymore. So as you can see, I started upgrading my SVT Cobra, but then I stopped because I got a better car. And then, like I said, I also had the Dodge Viper GTSR, the Acura that was stock at the time, the Infinity, as well as the Lotus 340R. Obviously, I didn't want to use the Lotus Esprit because, like I said, I don't want to max an RQ65 Epic. So this was my hand going in to the final. This was like 3 days to go, right? And then obviously, as you guys know, I then went on to open 15 carbon fiber, 5 2000s and 10 2002s. So let's start with the 10 2002s because I opened 2 on my stream, got nothing. 2 ultra rares. Then I opened 8 from a video. You guys probably saw it already. And from that 8, as you know, I got absolutely nothing. Well, not really nothing. I got the Volkswagen Phaeton, and I got 2 Acura NSXs. Now, I was really happy to get the Acura NSXs because this was the only American Frontier car that I couldn't pull until, you know, I pulled this like, what, 3 days ago? 2 days ago? 4 days ago. There you go. 0 races even. So I was really happy. Those are the good takeaways. The Acura NSX and the Phaeton. So now with the addition of the Phaeton, I could get rid of this and I could put in the Phaeton. So this was what my hand was looking like going into the final. Still not very good, right? No Mitsubishi, no DNX, no Pagani. It wasn't looking very good. From the 10 2002 packs as well. So my 2002 basically maxed out. This was the best 2002 could bring for me. It was the Volkswagen Phaeton and the Infinity G35. It wasn't looking very good. So this was the hand that I had going into the finals. And then after I recorded the 2002 video, I went on to open 5 2000 packs. These were off camera. I opened them while I was streaming on my Discord, but I wasn't recording anything. I was streaming on Discord, wasn't recording anything. And I have to say, 2000s was where everything came into clutch. So I got the Paganis on the S. Also, I got a second Viper GTSR concept. So right there, from 5 packs, I got the best epic you could pull, and I got a legendary as well, which turned out to be better than the 2002s on the dry tracks. Because the 2002s what it has is traction and ABS, which meant that it was going to win on any of the wet track sets. So basically what I did was I just didn't put the Pagani on the wet, I just put it on the dry. The Pagani's on the S never lost to the 7.3. This thing actually won on some cases. I'm gonna put an image right here. It was insane. I think it won on the hairpin, it won on the twisty circuit, it won on the fast circuit dry. The Zonda S was an MVP. It was a beast. That being said though, I at the start of the finals, the win ratio on my Zonda was it went as low as 28%, because at 1 star the Zonda was useless. At 1 star the Vipers would beat it, obviously, because at 1 star the Pagani Zonda only hit 98 handling. Oh my god, the sensitivity, man. But I was using it nonetheless at the time. So Pagani Zonda S, so we'll put you in, and I was also using a second Viper GTR concept. So this was my hand. This was my hand for the longest time, and I joined the finals after 4 hours. I joined it really early. I was hoping that I would get an easier bracket. The reason why I joined it super early was because everybody wants to late join now. Not only people with bad hands, people with good hands want to late join now. And I think the main problem is because I think a lot of players with good hands, a lot of good players realize that a lot of late joiners have really bad hands. So if they join late, they would have a much easier competition. This was true for maybe the first 2 prize cars or first 3 prize cars, but obviously it catches on, right? And then all the players are starting to think, oh, if the late join has easier hands, we're all going to late join. What happens when all the good players late join? The late join bracket becomes the hardest one. So obviously I didn't want to take the risk. I was like, I didn't want to late join with this. I didn't want to join on the final day. And the thought of not knowing what my competition was going to be for 2 days outweighed the fear of, I guess, getting the bracket and then fighting for 3 days. It's a whole thing. Like, honestly, it depends on what kind of player you are. I've met players where they're like, oh, I just don't want to play for 3 days. It's too stressful. For me, it's like, I don't want to not play and not know who I'm going to play against for 2 days. That is more stressful for me. So this was my hand for the majority. I joined with 4 hours after the event started, and for basically 2 days this was my hand. Not exactly, as you can see, because at the time this was 1 star and this was 1 star. Okay, so obviously 1 star, this was like what, I think it was 3.691, something like that. And then obviously this at 1 star wasn't very good either. I eventually maxed out the handling, and then I put 1 handling into the weight. So sorry, not 1 handling, but 1 upgrade into the weight. So this was my hand. As you can see, slowly the progression, my hand was getting stronger for the Fap. I was getting ready for the Fap. I wanted to Fap. So, you know, my hand was getting stronger and stronger. It was slowly progressing, and I had basically had 5 2000 carbon fibers. I had this hand and 5 2000 carbon fibers. That's all I had left. And basically for 2 days, I was just getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled. For 2 days in my bracket, I was literally just floating around 22nd and like 18th and 12th, then I go down to 22nd, then 18 and 12, then I go to bed and I wake up on 22nd again. As you can see, I'm going to show you a picture right here. This was my final win-loss tally. As you can see, I have the most losses out of everyone, but that doesn't mean that I had the weakest hand when I finished. When I finished, I actually had a really good hand, and I'm really proud of my hand because it won me the Fap. Got me a Fap. But yeah, the problem was because I didn't invest in my hand, because I wasn't upgrading cars for 2 days, I was a pretty easy target. That's why I got a lot of losses. And I basically had like this whole strategy where I was going to basically speed max my Zonda right at the death. Why? It's because I wanted the guys in the top 10 to think that they were safe. I wanted to think, oh, this Lewis Christopher guy, he has a 1-star Zonda and we have like 6 hours to go and it's still at 1 star. He has no time now to upgrade it because obviously one upgrade into a legendary takes 8 hours. So I wanted them to get comfortable. Right? So 6 hours to go, I pushed the red button. I decided maxing everything. I started to max everything. So I started maxing the Pagani's on the S. And fun fact, I actually fused epic prize cars into my Zonda S. Yep, epic prize cars, bye-bye, went into that. If you want to know what epic prize cars I got rid of the not, I keep calling it the Hyundai. No, it's the Infinity Epic, and the Maserati. I don't even know what it's called. You know, it's the F1 car, lightweight, you know, RQ65, whatever. I got rid of those two. They were useless to me. And, you know, since they're prize cars, they're never going to be useful in a final. So I got rid of those two. I'll probably explain it in a different video. video, but I got rid of 2 prize cards and like 13 other epics. I maxed out the Zonda, and this was my hand. So there I was. My deck was out there for the world to see, and I have to say it was a little strange competing with a bunch of dudes and seeing what their Fap hands were like. But I had to say, 4 hours to go. I had 2 Vipers, a Phaeton, a Max Zonda, and an Infinity. What could go wrong? Well, let me tell you, for the next 3 hours or so, nothing went wrong. I was fine. I was basically treading water in 4th place. I was taking a lot of losses, basically 2 losses every half an hour or so. But, you know, I would always make it back. I would always make the wins back. I get 2 losses, I get 3 wins, you know, something like that. I spent a lot of gold on tickets and servicing, not gonna lie. I mean, you saw my win ratio. I had to do like 100 races on my own. But obviously, and that was like 40 more races than everybody else in my bracket. So everything was smooth sailing until about 40 minutes to go. Came in a new name, a person that just wanted to beat my hand so much. He wanted to beat my hand so much that he didn't want to beat his own. I don't know why. But there I was. I saw that I took 2 losses, then I took 3, then I took 4, then I took 5, and then I just see this new name coming up. Obviously, when you're staring at the finals bracket for the last 6 hours, you know the people in the top 10. So when a new name shows up, you know that there's a new name in there. So yeah, we're not gonna say his real name, but we're gonna say something close to his real name. It rhymes with Dick Bean, so we're gonna call him Dick Bean. All right, suddenly he comes up. I see his win ratio, you know, his win-loss. I mean, his wins, they just increase, and every time his wins increase, my losses increase. So it's late drama. I know it's bad. I was getting nervous. I was getting anxious. I was like, yo, can you stop just racing me? But anyway, he gave me 10 losses, and I went from 4th to 9th in about 3 minutes. It was hell. So because of that, I was like, you know what? My hand is not worthy for a Fap. I need a better hand. I need to erect something that's even stronger, even bigger. So what I did was I went on to strengthen my deck. So I opened 5 more of the carbon fibers. Like I said earlier, I opened 15. Well, I had 5 more. I opened 5 more, and lo and behold, I got the Audi RS4 Avant. And obviously, I had to speed max it. So this was the first epic that I speed maxed since the Mustang GT4 or the wide body when American Frontier dropped. Speed max this thing in literally 2 seconds. Put it in my hand. I got rid of the Infinity and I put in the RS4. And one other thing I realized was like, you know what? Because of that one track set with the slalom wet, the slalom dry, and the city streets, I was like, the 2 Vipers isn't going to work. The 2 Vipers just isn't going to work. So I eventually got rid of this, and I was like, what is better? I was deciding to put in the Infinity, but I couldn't put in the Infinity. So let me see. The reason why I couldn't put in the Infinity was because I needed a car for the slalom wet, and for the slalom wet, the Acura RSX actually beat the Infinity G35. So, and obviously I was using the Infinity G35 on like Ocean City streets anyway, and because I pulled the Audi, it was a whole switch up, you know. Because I pulled the Audi was better on Ocean City streets. I didn't need that anymore. And this was also better than the Volkswagen Phaeton on Ocean City streets. The only car that was better than the Audi was the Mitsubishi Evo, which I never pulled in the end. So eventually I had to put in the RSX, and like I said earlier on in the video, it was stock at the time, so I had to speed max the RSX and I had to speed max the RS4 Avant. So now we're saying that in my entire hand, I speed maxed 3 out of the 5 cars. I speed maxed the Audi, the Zonda, and the RSX. But because of that Audi, I got back into the bracket when I was 9th, and I decided, you know what? Dick Bean gave me 10 losses, so I proceeded to give him 15. So he went up to 4th at the time after giving me 10 losses. So I brought him all the way back down to 10th. And then, like I said, because he came in with about 40 minutes to go, and I'm guessing that he was always in the bracket. It's just that he went for that final push. He started playing in the final 40 minutes. Well, joke's on you. I started playing with 6 hours to go, buddy. I don't have a life. I wanted to Fap. All I do is try and Fap or get a Fap. Yeah, I gave him 15 losses, and he was 10th with 30 minutes to go. And everybody knows you don't want to be 10th with 30 minutes to go, because that's when it becomes a bloodbath. That's when people in 11th and 12th and 13th start playing. That's when they start targeting the guy in 10th, because that's the position they want. They want 10th. They want to win. They want 9th. So I pushed him down to 10th, and yeah, let's just say that he didn't win it. well, not let's just say, he didn't win it. He lost the blood battle and he ended 13th. Anyway, that was it. So that was my final hand. I finally won the FAP. It was worthy. I've erected something that was good enough and my deck was strong. It was as strong as, you know, it was a top 10. It was a top 10 deck and that's why I got the FAP. But yeah, the interesting thing about this final, right, is you could say that I started playing the game a week ago and I won the FAP. Because the thing is, 4 out of the 5 cards in this hand, I pulled over this weekend. No cap. The only car I had at the end of the day was the Viper GTSR concept. Everything else I pulled literally 4 days ago. Alright, look, Zonda, 4 days ago. Okay, Phaeton, 4 days ago. Acura RSX, even the Acura was 4 days ago. And last but not least was the RS4 Avant. I pulled that a day ago, like I said, with about 40 minutes left in the final. So one hell of an experience, But with that said, let's roll the clip of me getting a FAP.
I'm pretty certain
someone did. Grapefruit floodplains. I thought grapefruit plains, but it's floodplains.
Somebody's hungry.
I am. Oh, because I was. That's another thing. I was stress eating for like the past like 4 hours.
Oh my. That's funny because I haven't eaten in like a day and a half.
Eating is overrated.
I've not been this stressed with the game since the Bugatti Chiron Sport. Come on!
Daily, let's go.
Top 10 in the daily with no.
You didn't even clutch number 1 on the daily. Wow.
I'm not clutching daily. I got my top 10, so it's good enough for me.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, he just entered in the last 5 minutes, did his 5 races.
I'm shaky. This was the I've been stressed straight for 6 hours. 500. Come on.
No, you got it.
Come on.
You got it.
Come on. Come on.
Eighth.
Come on.
Eighth.
Come on.
Eighth.
Come on. Yes! Well, I started this final with 1 epic in my hand.
Blossom. 1 out of 100, you sell it.
No! No! Go away! No! Not today, Val! Not today! Not today! Yes!
So much hype.
So 1 out of 1,000, I'm hearing.
Yeah, guys, but that was it. I have to say, it was one hell of a final. I've never had a final this stressful since the Bugatti Chiron Sport. It's ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed this little story time. It was a great progression story. I mean, I literally went from 0 to 100 in a weekend. I mean, obviously, I had some pack luck pulling the Zonda. Off-camera pack luck, once again, coming in clutch. Because the Zonda and the Viper, I pulled off camera. Not this Viper, but the second Viper, which I didn't end up using. And the Audi, I pulled off camera as well. But yeah, man, the Peugeot was a car that I really needed. For those of you wondering why I went so hard for this, because usually when I only have one car, I sit out. You know, it was the same thing with the SLS. I wasn't gonna buy Acura packs. It was the same thing for the Pagani and the hot hatch finals. I wasn't gonna open hot hatch packs. Usually when I only have one car, I'm not going to try. But the Peugeot, although it's a Peugeot, it meant a lot to me. I really needed this FAP because I was so stressed, and you know, to de-stress, you just need a good FAP sometimes. And I mean, on a serious note, I really needed this because my lowest moment in top drives in 2021 was literally getting 11th in the Jag XJ9 finals, and that was a time where I actually believed that I could win the XJ9. And once again, I did open 6 off-camera carbon fibers, and I didn't get anything. So knowing that the FAP beats the Jag and I won the FAP really alleviates the pain. The sting is gone, you know? I didn't win the XJ9, doesn't matter. I won a car that's gonna beat it everywhere as long as it's not a British event. So yes, I genuinely needed this FAP. And I'm just happy that at the end of the day, my deck was just strong enough for the FAP. So it was a top 10 deck, won the FAP, and I need to stop with the innuendos. I really do. I'm trying so hard, but I need to stop. But on a real note, man, I'm just so happy I won the 908. Congratulations to everyone that got the FAP. It really was one hell of a weekend. This was tough, man. It was the toughest bracket I've had in a very, very long time. I mean, just to put it into comparison, the guy in first place, he had a Max Pagani Zonda, the yellow one, not the white one that I had. He also had a Max Acura DNX, Max Evo and 2 Vipers, I think. No, it was Acura and another Viper. It was incredible. No, so Phaeton. I'm already forgetting what his hand was, but it had all the key cars, and everyone in the top 10 had the Evo besides me. I had to get through this without an Evo, so you know, obviously I had to go hard on something else, so I went hard on the Zonda. I just realized what I did there, that wasn't even intentional, but yeah, I went hard for the Fap. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the story time. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.